So I'm trying to answer Joy's question about the converting the image to a embroidery file, and just basics first of all. I'm not sure how much you know about Inkscape and Inkstitch, but this basic satin column is basically two lines. Use my selection tool. I'm going to copy or duplicate that, and I'm going to move it over. It's basically two lines running alongside each other in the same direction. Combined, which both lines are selected. You go to Path, Combine, and then you use your pencil tool. And while holding the Shift key, you see my two lines are already selected. I want to add rungs onto these two rails, make it look like a ladder. So I'm going to just put one rung across the top. Still holding the Shift key, I'll put another rung along the bottom. And then you go to Extensions, Inkstitch, Params. Then you go to the Satin Column tab and click the box next to Custom Satin Column. And you can see it's filled in as a satin column in the direction that I drew the lines. You just hit apply and quit. That is the basics. Now, concerning your logo that you want to digitize, I already have it loaded. You would go to the trace bitmap. I'm going to select it, and you can see here in a single scan brightness cutoff, it shows up in black. You hit apply. Let me go close the image so we no longer see it. See, the image is gone. So this is your SVG. What I do, the easiest way that I find to do it, and there, like Gus said, there are multiple ways to do it. And I'm not saying that this is the best way, but the way that I do it is I would just draw a box or a rectangle behind it. I would put a fill stroke. So I have a fill and a stroke outline on it. Let me position that over the top. I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller than the SVG. And I'm going to drop it down behind SVG. And so I want to select both images by holding, you see my rectangle is already selected, and hold the Shift key and I'll select the SVG on top. Then I'll go to Path, Flatten. Okay. Now what has happened is your SVG is still there, but it leaves behind this logo. Change this back 2 inches. So now you can see, as I zoom in, you have a fill and you have a black stroke outline. Well, I don't need the red fill, so I'm going to turn it off by hitting the X, which leaves me with an outline. Now I want to narrow that outline a little bit. I'm going to go down to, let's go to 0.2 millimeters. Make it easier to work with. So there's your outline, and that's where I start trying to digitize this as a satin stitch. So I would use my node tool, and I'm going to start by selecting this image. First of all, let's see what happens if we go to Path, Split Path. Okay, so you can see by going to Split Path, it's already separated a lot of the letters. It has separated this letter M. It has separated this and this part, and your bow and string on the bottom. Let me just put it all back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this design right here, the largest design. And I'm going to use the nodes tool, and I'm going to zoom in. And what I want to do is I want to break this apart. I want to break this path apart by, I'm going to select these two nodes here, and up here I'm going to break path at selected nodes. So when I scroll down, I want to go to the other end of it, and I want to break it right here. And since I don't have a node, I'm going to select it, and I'm going to double click to create a node. Now that node is already selected. Now I'm going to break the path at selected node. So now I'm going to go path, break apart. So now it has separated. Let me get my selection tool. It's selected. That is one part of it. This is another part of it. And it has broken path and separated the object. So I want to put those back together. What I normally do, and you can do this in params after the fact, but I like doing it before, just to keep it uncomplicated. I'm going to pick one of the rails, and I'm going to go path, reverse, because I want both of these rails running the same direction. So now I need to select both of the rails and go path, combine. So these are your rails. Now I need to tell it what stitch direction I want my stitches to go by selecting the pencil tool and drawing rungs. So I'm holding down the shift key, and I'm going to start drawing rungs where I want the stitch direction to go. And we're just going to go all the way down the object. Okay, so I have my two rails and my rungs, and they are already combined. As I was holding the shift key down, it was combining it. So now I have it selected. I'll go to extensions, inkstitch params. Select my satin column tab and select custom satin column. And you can see it's stitching out a satin stitch. You can change the direction of that stitch by going to reverse both rails, and it will stitch it the other direction, which is probably what I would do to configure it to where you have less jump stitches in the stitch out. So I'm going to apply and quit. So that's basically how you would do it. Now if you wanted to do this entire thing, I'm not going to take the time to go through the entire thing, but you would do the same thing like in these tuning knobs. You would break the path where they meet this object and break it here, and you'll have, and break it apart, and you'll have the two objects that you will combine, draw your rungs, and for each tuning knob you do the same thing. For this long part you would break it here, and again at the bottom here you would have to combine your path here. Let's go here and show you, because you need a solid, continuous line in order to make this this entire object a satin column. So you would select these two nodes, and you would join selected end nodes with a new segment. Same thing here. Once you would break the path here, well, let's just go ahead and do it, and we'll select all three of these. We will break apart. We'll do the same thing here. Since we don't have a node close, we'll create a node here. So we'll take this. I'm holding the shift key down, selecting those three nodes where I want to break it apart and break the path. Let's do the same thing here. Select it, we'll break the path there. We'll come down here. We will break the path here. And we go to path, break apart. And you can see all the different parts of the object. Now we need to continue this line. So I'm holding my shift key and selecting this bottom line and the next line. Select the nodes, and I'm going to join them together. Hold my shift key down, select the next line, select those nodes, join them together. Now with that one line selected, I'm going to go to path reverse. And it's reversed. I'm going to select the other line. I'm going to use Control K or path combine to combine them together, and then you would just draw your rungs, holding the shift key down. And we'll go to extensions, inkstitch, params, satin column tab, custom satin column. And there you have that. Another thing you're going to want to do is turn on at a minimum your center walk underlay. I forgot to do that on the last one. But that's basic how you would do it, and you would just go into the rest of your design and break it apart like that and convert it into satin columns. I hope this helps you.